Okay, so I have with me somebody who's very special. I'm going to reveal him to you in just a nanosecond. His name is Mr. Eben Combrinck. High five, Eben. Let's get this started.
Kev.
Beautiful. Look at all that ink on you, Eben.
Yeah.
All that art.
It's good to see you, man. I think the last time I saw you in real life was at the Craig Farrell skate park in East London, South Africa, in about 1991. You changed a little bit. You used to have long hair with a ponytail, and you've got a little bit of an American tweak in your South African accent.
Thank you, Eben. Thank you. Well, I remember those days very clearly because I didn't idolize you, but there were two people that I was very, very fond of in I would call it extreme sports because of the surfing, the skating, the water skiing, the BMXing. Ultimately, I excelled in skateboarding. The driving force behind that, the two locals that I admired the most was Sven Martin and Eben Combrinck. So, I mean, you guys were like connected by the hips. And Eben, you were always that gentleman. You were always that stellar character, man, that you'd always be kind to us and nice to us, little Groms, if you want to call us that. I don't know if you can call us Groms. But it was just beautiful because you were such a gentleman, buddy. And you always had such a great presence about you of purity. You had this presence of gratification. You had this presence of humility. You did. Even though you might have had an ego, it was suppressed. We all have egos, by the way. I know you know that. With you, really had a way of showing humility. And explain it to me because you've always kind of been that way. You never really had that big, in my eyes back then when I was a youngster, you were like the world champion because that's all I had to look up to was Eben Combrinck. How come they never went to your head, Eben, especially back then?
I think the thing that my dad and mom always instilled in me and taught me is that that God works through you when you're using your God-given talents and living with passion, and this is how he works through every single one of us. So I think that's probably the one of the main things that
so kind of your faith, right?
Through my life.
Well, Eben, tell us a little bit more about you. Let's kind of have a little backstory on Eben Combrinck, who he was, by the way. Where are you from? Where were you born? Let's kind of get into that, Eben, because I'm curious because I'm a fan, and you know I'm a fan, Eben, because you know how much I love you. Even though I'm an adult now, I'm 45, I still had a childlike enthusiasm in me. Give us a little bit of a backstory, buddy, like, a little bit of an intro into your life and so forth.
Yeah, so look, and that's the beauty of skateboarding is, you're like my brother from another mother, and skateboarding has just been a catalyst that God has used to connect us.
That's beautiful, yeah.
And that's why we're sitting here delivering this message to the world. So basically, I started skateboarding probably around about 1978.
Okay.
When I was about 5 years old, and got more active in the skate scene around about 1986. Around those Cresta days in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
And skateboarding from then has always been a vehicle that has connected me with people of all ages, races, religions, cultures, in many countries around the world, and it all kind of began in the early days of Cresta skate park.
So Cresta, that was the I remember the Look Ahead skateboard park. Where was the Cresta Park? I remember, you know, quickly before you carry on, Evan, the first time I ever saw you, I was brand new to skateboard. I'd probably been skating for a month. I heard about this pool, this in-ground pool in Rivonia, out in the field.
Yes.
And I went there, and yeah, it was this pool, graffiti, slapped down concrete to make it kind of like a half pipe at the shallow end. And there I'm just, it was just me, and I was with Greg Finch. It was just me and Greg. And I mean, I didn't think we were dropping in. I think we were just there and trying to, like, you know, pump, what it was called, pumping. And you and Sven and Brad, what is Brad? I remember Brad, the tall, skinny guy. You guys rocked up. And I think it might have been Haldane. Brad Napier, but I do remember it was you, Sven, and Brad. You guys rocked up. That was my first experience ever with, in a sense, let's say, pro skateboarding. And let me tell you what, Eben, I'm going to brag about you. I just have to. I'm kind of studying Eben right now. When I saw you pull off a hand plant, I don't know what it was. Honestly, I don't know what it was. I'd seen it in magazines and heard about it. When I saw you pull off a hand plant, I'm trying to speak South African American. I'm confused right now because I'm copying. I like to mirror my people, and I'm trying to mirror you, but I've been in America for 27 years, so I get confused. So it blew my mind. I mean, I know it's natural for you. I know it's almost a nothing for you. For us at 15 years old to see something like that for the first time was groundbreaking. Because you don't think it's possible. You made it possible for us, Eben.
Well, you see, in saying that, thanks for that. But all the inspiration and the whole creativity that developed around the Cresta skate park days, you know, the guys that were older than us, Brad Napier, Pete Furneaux, Moose,
yes, Pete.
Brett Volmerans.
Yes.
They were, you know, they were from the Rivonia side of town, and they used to come through the Cresta skate park, which used to be it was originally a skate park in the 70s. It got transformed into a water park, and they fiberglassed all the bowls. And then when we got to the mid 80s, we discovered this abandoned skate park at Cresta and started stripping all the fiberglass off the bowls. So we used to spend a lot of weekends just stripping fiberglass to skate different sections of the bowls. And Brad and Pete and Moose and Brett Volmerans were kind of the guys we looked up to. So I learned a lot from them.
Got it.
And through that process, you know, a whole crew developed in the Johannesburg area. And like any time we could get, we would get to the bowls, strip more fiberglass, itch for days, sitting at school with a fiberglass itch, and we couldn't wait to get back to strip more and go and learn more and push limits and see what was possible, because we didn't, you know, those days in South Africa, I think with, you know, there were sanctions on South Africa because of the political situation, so we couldn't get skateboards, we couldn't get magazines, we couldn't get any of that stuff, you know. So we just, I remember
it was like 10 times the price, Eben. I remember to get a board, like if a family member was going overseas, which was rare, you know, you'd ask them to buy a skateboard deck. I like, one of my first skateboard dates was a Rob Roscoe. I remember it was like a gift. It was like it was like 10 times the price. You know, it was like 1,000 rand back then.
Dude, Rob Roscoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob Roscoe. Rob Roscoe, about 3 years ago, he pitched up at my skate park that I had in Belito down here in KZN. He was riding the mountain bike trails at Sugar Rush.
Wow.
Hollow Trails up in Belito. And the one day he was on his mountain bike driving past, and he saw my half pipe and he pulled in, man. It was like the craziest thing. Sorry.
I love it, Evan. I love it. I love how you've kept true to the sport and you've kept true to your calling, because not only has skateboarding been a lifelong passion, which is a sport, but it's also been a cause for you, because you transition that into now bringing that passion of yours to the kids of the world. And I'm not just talking about Africa. I'm talking about Asia. And I almost believe you'll bring it to America because I've seen your theme in America as well. Not as radical as yours, because you're wild, Eben, as it is naturally. You're just kind of out of control, which is a good thing. We need more radicals like you. But yours are going to the jungle. You've got these going to the jungle. Then we have you building them in suburbia or by apartment buildings in China. I really want to get into it because that's the main purpose of this podcast and this chat with you this morning, because it's about legends, people that are making a difference, people that are leaving a legacy, which you are leaving a legacy, by the way, and people that are about transformation. Yeah. Legends, it's called Legends, A Hero's Journey. That's the show, Eben, because it's about individuals. I'm talking individuals like yourself that are purposeful in their life. And when they leave, their contribution has left a legacy. So meaning kids in 100 years' time will remember you and what you've left behind because of what you created. They might not know your name, but you've left your fingerprint in China with the skateboard parks you've built. And we'll get into that right now because people need to know about that and what that purpose is. In Africa, you will have left an extension of yourself behind that people will enjoy for decades. And you know what? Maybe it evolves from there to hoverboards. Who knows? It doesn't really matter. What matters is what you've done in this timeline of yours here on Earth, the blessings and favor you have from God. So let's get into that, Eben. So I love that you had the crest. That must have been a secret spot because none of us really. I remember back then I never knew about the Crest Skateboard Park. I'm like, there's a Crest Skateboard Park. That's for those legends back then. I was sort of fledgling wannabe skater. So what happened after that, Eben? Are you from Johannesburg or where were you born, Eben?
I was born in a town called Rustenburg, which is now known as the Northwest Province. My dad is South African. My mom has Swiss descent, but always lived and born and bred in South Africa. Went to school in Rand Park Ridge, which was kind of the area where the Cresta skate park was, and that's where like a whole movement and generation. I mean, we were at Rand Park High School, and we just had like this whole community of skaters that grew and developed, and the one movie at the time that really sparked like the whole thing was Thrashing. You remember Thrashing?
I love that. That show was epic. It's even epic today, man. I watched that. It's like never ending story. I can watch it over. It's timeless. So Eben, here's an interesting fact. So I'm a trend spotter. Okay, I'm also a trend creator, but I can spot trends. When I was young, I'm 15 years old, and I spotted you at that Randburg or the Rivonia concrete pool. I thought you're from Durban because you had this very sexy
banana bowl.
Banana ball. Oh yes, a banana ball. Thank you so much. You had this very sexy flavor about you. You had this very colorful, like what we'd call back then the Durban boy look. And it's actually a compliment, by the way. I'm actually complimenting you because it shows what kind of a trendsetter you are, and I know you still have that in you because that's a gift that's a gift that you've had, Eben. Like even your name, Eben. Who calls their son Eben, dude? Your dad's a legend, buddy. I've never heard anybody else ever be called Eben. What does Eben mean, by the way? What does that mean?
So my grandfather was Eben, my dad was Eben, so I'm the third in the generation.
So you're the number three, lucky charm. What does Eben mean? What does Eben mean? Yeah, what does it mean, Eben?
So the reference and a biblical meaning is rock of help.
Rock of?
Rock of help.
Wow, Eben, wow. How significant is that? Hey, look at your purpose in your life. Look at how much change you brought. And we need to talk about you, okay, but how much change you brought to the people around you. I want to know what kind of a change can you bring to Eben now? Because for your whole life, you've been so giving. which is all fair and square. I love that. Ultimately, you've given so much. What is there for Eben? So let's quickly, before we go too far, because I'm thinking 20 steps ahead.
Well, yeah. Okay, so but yeah, before you go 20 steps ahead, I think the here's a fact, Kev. We are all born with a life sentence, right? Time is an extremely valuable commodity, and we never know how much time we have. The big question, what are you doing with your time? And this is something that through discovering a passion through skateboarding and having very supportive parents who have kind of understood my madness through the years and supported me through that. Has been a big part of this journey that has got me to do all these things and have an impact on people's lives, or through a skateboard. It's amazing that that a skateboard transcends language, race, age, color. It's just amazing what a skateboard can do.
A skateboard can do. It's also you are one with your skateboard. So the reason you've been successful at skateboarding, Eben, is because it's not just a skateboard. You're the driving force behind that piece of earth, because it is earth. So when you're in a skateboard, you and the skateboard are one. It's not two different elements. It's one. And you're the driving force, because that skateboard would be nothing without you. So I love what you're saying, because I'm with you. I'm so with you. I also understand that if you look at, and I'm going to use Tony Hawk as an example, because that's the name that resonates with the entire world when it comes to the epitome of skateboard success, not just in skateboarding, but in the business side of it as well. Because to me, life is all about personal and business, and they do both intermix. They do both merge.
Yeah.
You look at him; he's a successful skateboarder now. He's a coach now. Okay, which is really good. So now he can contribute his skills and his success onto others, whether they're adults or children, doesn't matter. It's the same thing. And he has a successful business. So he's leveraged his talent into having his brand, his name, Tony Hawk, himself. He's leveraged that into business. That's what Eben Combrinck needs to do. He needs to...
Well, you remember we got to skate with Hawk and Ray Barbie when they came to South Africa in 1990 or 91 at the Standard Bank Arena. You remember those days?
I love that. I just watched a video about a week ago. Some guy uploaded that. He found us somewhere. And that was just brilliant, Eben. Oh, it was so amazing.
Did you see it, Eben? Man, brings back good memories.
Did you see that video about a month or a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah,
that was legendary.
I saw it.
Legendary.
Yeah, good things. And this is the other thing. The journey of skateboarding, especially in South Africa, has never been easy because it's never been recognized. So it's really been a passion-driven activity, but the friendships that have been developed through that. I mean, I haven't seen you since 1991, and we chatting like we're sitting at the skate park in East London.
Absolutely. You're a hero of mine.
Nothing changes, and that was all just through connecting with a common interest in skateboarding.
Right.
So I wouldn't say I'm the best skateboarder in the world by no means, but it has definitely given me a purpose and a direction through enjoying skateboarding and the opportunity to connect with people all over the world through that common interest. And I've got amazing friends all over the world
Right.
just from that.
Right. And so what are you doing now? Because something has to fund your perfect life. So what are you doing now to continue on that journey to your purpose in life? So you've been an epic skateboarder and you're still an epic skateboarder. And now you've got this, I want you to share with the audience, Eben, what you're doing now and this endeavor you're on, because people have to hear what you're doing. So they're saying how you get the word out is kind of this contact sport. Tell us about that, Eben.
So the journey of skateboarding is about creative self-expression, and through that you get to do a lot of things. Growing up in South Africa requires a certain amount of creativity because of a number of factors, and I don't want to get into the politics, but skateboarding offers many different angles and avenues, from construction to design to creative conceptualization, videography, photography. There are so many different career paths that the growth of skateboarding through the big names like Tony Hawk and Steve Caballero and the Bones Brigade that we were accustomed to and we knew, and many more that have grown and come along with that. So having two young boys in their early stages of development, I was always looking for, I mean, I've never pushed skateboarding on them.
Yeah.
But in those early days, it was always an activity that I could share with them. And, my dad built the first backyard ramp after Cresta got bulldozed. We didn't understand transitions or coping or the structure. We just knew we had to build something that looked like a half pipe that we had seen on the thrashing.
Right. Okay. Got it.
Just through a natural process, I did the same thing with my sons. And we didn't have enough space in the yard to build a pump track. So, found a piece of land out on a farm at Sugar Rush in Belito, and convinced the owner that this was a good idea, and started building a pump track out of clay, which was a nightmare when it got wet, and then progressively got to a stage where we threw asphalt over it, and the whole thing was kind of, tested the flow and ride of it using my son's 16-inch BMX. So it was a lot of fun, and they were involved in that whole process,
Absolutely. And the whole that's a real growth process as well for you to learn. That's all the trials and tribulations you went to where you are today, and what you're doing today with that kind of whole pump process of yours with the skateboard park.
Yeah. So we had our time in the mid-late 80s, when the vert scene was really big, and then there was a lull where skateboarding died, and it picked up again with X Games coming into the picture again. But South Africa has always been a very tough place to get it recognized, to get the funding, to build proper facilities in a safe, controlled environment. So a lot of backyard ramps, a lot of empty swimming pools, skateboarding, if you find a curb or a set of stairs or a bank or whatever, whatever we could skate, we skated. And that has then brought me to a point of being versatile in transition. We rode a lot of street. Now I'm like 2 years or 50, and the body takes a certain amount, and then you got to start like
you
a lot
also,
more stretching and
right.
I got to tap off. So now my mission is to give back to the next generation
Got it.
with the knowledge and experience that we've developed over the last 42 years of
Well,
riding.
look what you've done, Eben. Now you built. What are these parks called that you're building? What are they called, Eben?
So through doing that pump track at Sugar Rush, I developed a relationship through social media with a guy called Jonathan Strauss out of Miami, who developed a education model for skateboarding, which we have now implemented in the International School of Georgia in Ningbo, China,
Wow.
as the pilot.
Wow. Yeah.
And through that, one day I was just doing my thing as I normally do with skating, and Jonathan contacted me and said, "Dude, we're building this park in China, and the American crew was there at the time. I think their visas or something had run out and they had to bounce." And he said, "Can you come and finish the rest of the park?"
Where can I see that, Eben? I've got you on Facebook right now. Where can I see that? Oh, can I go to your page?
Where are you? Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's you in China, right? There's one of the pictures.
Yeah.
Look at
that's
that.
Sharing the joy of teaching kids how to skate.
Wow. Let me go to your videos. I love your Fibonacci. I love your where's the videos here? I love what you've done with your. So here's what Eben. Yeah, here's an idea. This is not it, Eben. This is.
But also when people they.
Oh, you're so amazing, dude.
Okay, that was a prototype. Okay. That was a prototype.
But also
that I was working on. A modular prototype.
Right.
We're just trying to get it a little wider, a bit more space. Testing a couple of different radiuses and transitions, and making it a bit more user-friendly for push bikes and the toddlers.
How come it hasn't taken off in America, Eben? Because something like this can be like something like this can be almost the NASCAR of America. Really, it could be. Because in America, sports is such a big thing. It's the driving force behind what people do for their off time. So Americans, I'll tell you this right now. Eben.
Yeah. So this little clip, that park was called the Mamba Skate Park in Salt Rock, Bolito, and it was the owners of the property called me in and said, "Hey man, they want to build this thing in the bush," and it was just trees and bush everywhere. And I did a walkthrough conceptual creative visualization process, and we started digging, and another guy, Troy O'Sullivan, got involved. He was one like South Africa's top longboarder, and we put that whole Mamba skate park together,
Right.
which was an incredible place. It still exists, and it's part of a school, and it makes part of the school's playground. So it's in a safe, controlled environment, and the kids are progressing and developing and doing amazing things there.
And so now you're building these all over the world, Eben, which is fantastic. Just a fantastic. Look at this, Eben. That is just, Eben, that's a masterpiece, buddy. That really is. Your contribution there, that's huge. That isn't just a rap anymore. That's almost like I want to say like lifestyle. Look, there's is that a young lady that you're teaching, or is that just another skater kid?
Yeah, that was Chloe.
Wow.
She was 8 years old, and you know, after skating for about 2 months, she had got to a stage where she was comfortable standing and riding on the board, and I just was able to ride with her and just be a bit of a confidence booster, to be close by, to give her the confidence to get through the SBSX Super Track, which is that pump track you saw there. It's that track in particular is a 200-meter loop.
Jeez.
The beauty of a pump track is it's very low impact, but a very high intense workout, you know, from a cardio perspective. Like if you understand interval training, and if you had to wear a heart rate monitor, that, you know, you can pace yourself, but it's an extreme. If you've ever done spinning, it's kind of like spinning on steroids. It's like you got to control your breathing, you got to control your balance, you got to use the momentum from the contours and the pump bumps and the berms, and just draw lines. It's like an endless wave. If you've ever surfed Jeffreys Bay or Irland's Bay, you know, one of those long waves.
Yeah, we would know it. Have you Eben, have you surfed Jeffreys Bay? Have you surfed it? Yeah, I'm sure you have. Of course you have, Eben. You've done everything kind of wild and crazy. Eben, are we going to see these pump tracks in America? Are we going to see pump tracks in America?
Yes.
Okay. Are you the contact person?
Yes, I work closely in collaboration with Skateboard Supercross, SBSX, which is based out of Miami. And there's a big movement in introducing these facilities into the schools, along with an education model that provides a safe, controlled environment for kids to develop and progress their skateboarding abilities, especially now that skateboarding has been recognized as an Olympic sport.
Amen, absolutely. And also for the kids' mind.
And it's not only about skateboarding, it's about all the other elements I mentioned earlier. That, you know, just through a common interest in skateboarding, there's construction, design, graphic design into clothing brands, or graphics on skateboards, or
competitions,
videography, photography,
sponsorships,
competitions, events.
Yeah.
The avenues that this is opening for skateboarding. A lot of people say, skateboarding going to the Olympics, you know, the hardcore dudes. Yeah, you know, you'll always have that. But what it is doing by introducing this education model into the schools is that parents can see a progressive learning program that is put in place, you know, focusing on safety as a rider, as well as safety as in the environment, with trained coaches who can deliver and impart this valuable knowledge. I mean, we learned from the school of hard knocks, man. We didn't know about pads and helmets, and
you didn't have the internet.
You know, taking big slams on concrete and road rash, and you know the drill. You've been there.
Absolutely. Hey, Eben, what I do love is I'm about the mind. I'm all about the mind. I'm always feeding the mind, and I'm always transforming and elevating myself with different training and different. I've always believed in coaching. But my coaches, business coaches, have accelerated. I mean, 90-day difference in my business. What I do like what you're doing, what I do see happening that I appreciate so much, Eben, is that you're also helping the kids with their mindset. Let me tell you why. An 8-year-old that puts their skateboard, whether guy, girl, whatever it may be, is on your pump track, they are looking at the finish line. They're not just looking at where they are right now. Yes, they're thinking about where they are right now, but they're also looking ahead. So they know when they go on the corner how to carve around the corner. They know how they need to pump to get over the next, you know, a hump, whatever it may be. If they don't do any tricks, they have to plan that ahead. So there's a lot of forward, like you said, a movement. There's a lot of forward momentum going on in that thought process, and you are part of a big movement, because I love it. I watch all your videos. Also, I'm a fan of yours, so that helps. But I do believe that something like this is a necessity because there's always that kid in school that doesn't want to play football. There's always that kid in school that doesn't want to play baseball or cricket or basketball. There is. And there's a lot of kids with a skateboard. I see it all. I see more kids at college with skateboards than I do at high school. You know, so it's a crossover sport. Anybody can do it. It's not just for the hardcore skater, which really a lot of skateboarders just enjoy being on a board, not necessarily having to compete. I'm a competitive kind of guy.
Yeah.
So are you, Eben. At least I believe you are. Or you used to be, because you were a reigning champion for many years in South Africa with
Dude,
all of
you
your
were super
brothers.
competitive.
Sorry?
You were super competitive. You were super competitive.
I mean, you lose it. So, Eben, that's what I love about you. I've lost many friends along the way, which is sad. I've lost many friends along the way because I'm highly ambitious and very motivated. So friendship to me is kind of, it's okay. What I believe in is I've got an amazing...
Something's never changed.
Yeah, and blood is thicker than water. So my wife, I've been with my wife for 24 years now. Oh, actually almost 25 years. We've been married for 22 years. Because she believes in me, she knows me, she understands me. She understands my trigger points. She knows I'm a workaholic. That I went to bed last night at 12:41 a.m. So, and I was up at 8 o'clock this morning. So my life is, it's not that it's hectic, Eben. I'm just driven to create. I don't look at my current reality. I look at my desired vision, my reality. So that's why I like you so much, is you didn't just fade away. You didn't just become a nobody. Eben Combrinck kept on his journey and his passion. A lot of us, I lost my passion. I gave up surfing. You can see the spots from all the sun if you look carefully. But anyway, I'll get this. One day I'll get this taken care of. I gave up surfing about 15 years ago. I mean, I surfed everywhere from San Diego to Santa Barbara. And, you name it, Trestle, Santa Onofre, Ventura. I surfed it. I love Malibu. But I had to give it up because it was 3 hours of my day that I could spend either focusing on business or being with my family or go surfing. So I kind of gave up a luxury, because it is a luxury, Eben. You have a luxury lifestyle, by the way. You do have a luxury lifestyle. I gave the luxury. But this is where the minds merge. We meet, where I support you, you support me. There's benefits, because I rather would contribute that time to something that was more to fund my lifestyle. I don't want to fund a skateboarding. I want to fund mega yachts, Bugattis, and so forth, and businesses. So that 3 hours a day would be very beneficial towards business, and it would be towards enjoying God's gifts, you know, going to the beach. Where I believe my prayer time, when I was super successful, Eben, I was super successful when I was actually praying on the beach. Funny enough, I get multi-million-dollar deals, Eben, when I'm on the beach praying to our creator of the universe. I'm sharing this with you because there's something about the ocean. I don't know what it is. It's something about water. I don't know what it is. Maybe because it's us. We're made of it, the majority of us. But Eben, my biggest deals came from when I sat on this on Earth, on Mother Earth. I sat there by water and I prayed. Buddy, I come off that beach 3 hours later, multi-million-dollar deals, $3.1 million, $5 million deals. Yeah. Because I think there's a connection with that element. All elements. But I just found for me, in prayer time, I'm not talking just sitting there surfing or sitting on the beach, drinking a Coke or a mojito. I'm talking in prayer time. That, my friend, I would see.
Listen, man, the thing is, the thing is about prayer, you know, gratitude in advance is the most powerful creative force in the universe. And I think that combined with the energy of the ocean, for me, church is sitting in back line, waiting for the next set to come through. and there's a connection that happens out there that only you only know it when you're out there. And
well, it's almost like I can't say I like LA is semi-desert, buddy. So LA is like hot, man. It's hot. Thank God we have the beach. That's why I live by the beach, because it's so bloody hot. But there's this mecca around Los Angeles. It's just,
Yeah.
LA is a trendsetter. That's what I like about Los Angeles. New York is the mecca for when it comes to business and wealth and fashion and Wall Street. I should be in New York, but I want to be by the ocean. I just love, I love the ocean,
Yes.
just like yourself, Eben. So I need to be around the ocean, because I go there
Yeah.
at least once. I used to go there a couple of times a week just to go and be by the beach, walk in the beach with my wife and my kids. And Eben, well, let's end it there, because I could talk to you forever.
Yes.
I can hold you here for the next couple of hours. What's the
Well, we
next?
can.
I love it. Thank you, Eben. I love it. What's phase 2? What's the next step for Eben Combrinck right now in his evolution for transforming to the next level? Because you've got so much to offer, Eben. Your soul is so divine.
Look,
You're being given so many gifts.
look, so you know how the journey goes. It brings people into your life. God works in these ways, and we, myself and my partner Neil Mankies, we met when we were on a stand-up paddle excursion, and he wanted to do some content capture with his 360 cam. So we've now developed a business relationship in a learn through play concept for kids, Eb's and Eddie's skateboarding adventures, which is a quite an exciting learn through play concept that really gets kids' attention. So we're working on that. Also in the process of establishing and building South Africa's first concrete pump track, similar to what we had done in China.
Right, very nice.
About 2,500 square meter undercover park, and it's probably about 2 minutes drive away from the beach.
Is that in pre-development?
Natal.
Sorry, is that in pre-development, Eben, or is that in development? Or is that like happening, or are you still seeking support for that?
Dude, yeah, it's in the process right now of signing off and going ahead. So by the 1st of December, we should have a temporary 500 square meter park up. More of a modular kind of setup, and
okay,
then
very nice. Yeah,
as we go into phase 2 of the full construction, then but that's probably like about a year or a 2-year rollout.
I know for some reason South Africa take time.
Yeah, and obviously the world's in an interesting time and space, so you know we're just taking one day at a time. But regardless of that, wherever I go and any opportunity I have, I share the joy of skateboarding, because it helps me connect with so many interesting people along the way. And yeah, any opportunity I get, and Eddie the dinosaur just increases that opportunity about exponentially by 1,000-fold.
And you know what it does, Eben, as well, is it helps you connect. It helps you connect with the children. Oh, that's awesome.
So there's Eddie. He's very responsive to my instruction, and yeah, I guess you could watch the video on my Facebook.
I'll actually share that video. I'll put the link below.
Yeah, he rides pretty good, and the beauty of being a dinosaur wrangler is that I'm just giving Eddie the instruction, and all the kids' focus and attention is drawn to Eddie learning how to skate as I give him instruction.
Got it.
So with that concept as a learn through play concept, we want to introduce it to the schools, and through that create and establish safe, controlled environments for the youth to learn.
Absolutely,
and Ready? You can go.
Well,
Yeah.
Eben,
So yeah.
Eben,
Look out for-
yeah, look out for Eddie, man. Yeah, Eddie, he's a monster. No, he's not. He's a dinosaur. So Eben, do you have have you written a book? Is there a book about Eben Combrinck? Have you looked into public speaking for yourself? Because you've got so much to offer. There's such a massive flow coming from you of opportunity. Have you thought of going into public speaking?
Look, no, I haven't. But my time spent in China was privileged to have the opportunity to present the SPSX education model to over 500 government officials and different sports bodies at the Olympic Sports Center in Beijing.
Wow.
Capital of China. So that was quite a interesting experience.
Bloody
and,
hell,
along with my translator. Yeah, I mean, you know, those things don't really happen every day. So
that's a blessing.
So I was really blessed to have that opportunity.
Well, I want to think about it, Eben, because Americans are big into hiring, not really motivational speakers. They're big into hiring transformational people that have done something that's like, it's not normal. It's always like what you do is kind of, it's not abnormal. That's not really the right word, but it's really transformative. And Americans are big on the mind and looking into the next dimension. You know, now we're conquering space. What's after that? There's the medical field. A big movement in America right now is the movement of the mind, where it's you're not trying to fix anything or fix problems or focus on the past. It's more about what can you create in the future, like, because the present is the present. It's past. It's already past. We're already living in the future. The present's gone. Do you know what I mean, Eben? So that's what I love about America. There's always this forward-thinking process, and you have that forward-thinking process. You're a pioneer. You're just in, I believe you're born in the wrong country. Maybe you need to be in America because they understand your transformative process. You're thinking way into, and nothing to discredit South Africa. I'm from South Africa. But even my dad said to me, Kevin, you don't belong here. You belong in America. And he sent me on a one-way ticket to America with $20 in my pocket. So I had no choice. The ship was burnt, brother. I had to make it happen.
Yeah, well, I've always, with everything that's happened in the skateboard industry from the time we started skateboarding, the aspiration has always been to get to America. The problem has been having a South African passport, and for me it's been difficult, for whatever reason, because I didn't own property or I wasn't married at the time or had kids. And there was no if I got to America, the chances of me disappearing and not leaving was probably the concern, because that's usually what happens, right? So I've applied for visas and
so there's a solution. There's a solution. There's no problem here. There's a solution. We'll work on it together, by the way, because what you have, America needs.
Every problem.
There you go, my friend. There you go. Eben, let's end it there, buddy. Thank you for your time. You are you're not just a legend. You're like a friggin' legend, buddy. Because I don't want to, I want to like that larger than life character that you need to share with us more, Eben Combrinck. Because you're such a massive
I hope
force.
we get to meet again one day in real life, bruv.
I think we're going to work together, Eben, because there's a huge energy, there's a huge force between us. And I know in my current location, there's so much opportunity.
Thanks for inviting me. On this call, bro. It's really been kiff to catch up, and I really look forward to the day we meet again in real life. And thank goodness for technology, so we can do that. And from here, the sky's the limit. So let's take it above and beyond.
Hey, let's do this, Eben. Let's do this. We'll end here. Let's do this. after this, we're going to contact me and you. We're not going to just climb the mountain because I know you like to be extra fit. We're going to climb the mountain to get into the rocket to go into space is what me and you are going to do. Brother, it's been a pleasure. It's been a privilege. It's been awesome. This is going to go live today, LA time, 3:30 this afternoon. You're going to love it. Eben, I'm looking forward to getting better acquainted with you again and building a better relationship with you, a more progressive relationship in business, that is, so that we can be a benefit to society and offer a contribution and so forth. And thank you for your time, buddy.
Thank you, brother.